Well, I wanted to give a couple of summaries since today is my last day. Um, First of all, I wanted to say anybody who wants to visit the Semyaze Silver Star Center, there's a couple important steps you should do. First of all, you should contact somebody here. You should not just show up, even though Sunday's Visitors Day. It's always best if they know you're coming and you can prepare and those kinds of things. So, if you want to visit the Semyaze Silver Star Center, um, go ahead and just send an email. If you have a contact there, go ahead and email your contact. If you don't, just send a message to the general box, which I think is info at I think it's at info at figu.org. Um, if not, you can find it on their website. I think that's what it is, though. I think it's info at figu.org. But that's sort of the general mailbox. Write to them, you're coming, let them know the dates, any kind of coordination or that kind of thing. That's number one. Number two, if you want to work here, if you want to do volunteer work on the center, which I highly recommend, it really is, it gives you a full perspective of what the center's like and the people here and all those kinds of things. So if you want to do that, they only allow 4 people at one time. So go to the website, figu.org, and there's a form you can fill out there that will say, hey, I would like to do volunteer work, the dates, that you'll be here and all those kinds of things. You only need to fill out that form so you reserve your spot. So you don't show up here and, oh, we're full on workers, which happens a lot. So um, be sure to, after you contact them, make sure you fill out that form if you want to do volunteer work. That's also important. And then, any stays, this is very rural, so it's tough to find a hotel. Airbnb is good. I stayed in an Airbnb this whole trip, and I've done that in the past. So they're relatively inexpensive. You can find them in the areas, and that works out good. Transportation. The Swiss rail system is excellent. It's top notch, probably one of the best in the world, always on time. You can take a train from Zurich to Vila, and then they have a bus system. I think it's called a postal bus system that you could take up the hill, up to the Semyaze Silver Star Center. And there's a place you can get off right here in Schmidt-Rudi, and then just walk. So it's relatively easy to get around. You can also do a rental car. It's a little more expensive, but that's, as far as visiting, that would be your best. Also, if you do the volunteer work, you get to interact with people. You get to interact with core group members, which is real nice. You can ask questions and stuff, and also other people that come up here to do work. You start to make connections from other people throughout the world. You can exchange emails and phone. You can do, WhatsApp or Signal or texting or do email communication. So that's another reason to do work, because you really get personal time with other people while you're here. It's not just visit at 30. There's a 30-minute rule. I mean, when you come to buy books and stuff, it's 30 minutes. You can stay here for 30 minutes and stuff, and then you have to leave. There's a very strict no loitering policy. You just can't come around here and hang out. This is a center for study and for learning and things like that. So it's not like it's not a destination you want to come here and just hang around and see what's going on. It's not like that. So anyway, those are the tips that I have for visiting. You've seen in my other vlogs what the work would be like, so you know what to expect, from that standpoint. And that's it for the visiting. I also want to let people know, which is really exciting for me. Yesterday or the day before, I forget which one, but the Billy Meier Books YouTube channel hit 7,000 subscribers. So thank you all for the subscriptions and all those types of things. You probably noticed on my videos, I don't tell people subscribe, click the bell, all that kind of stuff. People know how to do that. And, I don't want to, try to get followers and do all those kinds of things. So the people that have been a subscriber and signed up and the ones that just got us over 7,000, I really appreciate it. The actual number of subscribers on my channel, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I would do this if it was 10 people, just because I feel it's important. But it's nice to see the channels growing. And thank you for all the people that have subscribed and continue to subscribe, and the new subscribers that just put us over 7,000. Appreciate it. That's great. It's nice to see the channel grow. So that makes me happy for sure. That's all I wanted to say. Just a quick couple of tidbits, and I'll talk to you again here shortly. Good morning. It's Sunday morning, and I'm filming the very last vlog. It'll be vlog number 12. It's the That's the last one I'll be doing for this series. So I figured, since it'll be the last one in this series, it might be good to talk about death a little bit. Sort of the end. I sort of tied that together with the end of the series, of the video series, and with death. Talk a little bit about death. I know it's, at least in our society, it can be for some people, uncomfortable to talk about. People don't want to talk about death. They want to, put it to the background and not really, spend any time thinking about it or feelings or anything like that. But it's really important to think about death. And Billy has several publications and a whole book, well, actually 2 books on death and dying. And there's a new one out. It's in English. Oh God, I have to remember the title. It's like death, dying, rebirth, and sorrow. I probably missed a couple of those. Billy is very wordy with his descriptions and how he writes. So, but you'll know which book I'm talking about by that description. And it's a good book to read if you haven't read it. But what I wanted to really talk about was, how you deal with death, how you think about it. I'm now 60, and so I'm a little bit probably further along the life cycle than most people. So it gives me more opportunity because it's probably more present in my life. When I was 20, I didn't think about death, or anything like that. Probably most people don't, but it's important to understand that life and death are connected with each other, and you can't have one without the other. Billy talks about it as the becoming and passing away. That cycle that we always talk about, the cycle of life, which we really see in all of nature. I mean, it just maybe I'll go through a few. We have the night and day cycle. When the sun comes up during the day, and then at night we sleep. That's very similar to death. It could be considered that while we're alive, it's the waking state, and when we're on the other side, when our creation energy form is on the other side, then that's the death state, only to start again in a brand new cycle. There's a cycle of nature where we have spring, everything grows, and summer when it's in full bloom, and then fall, the leaves fall off the tree, and then in winter, everything goes to sleep, dormant, hibernation, whatever you want to call it, and then only to start again in the spring for the growth. And so that's another example. And there's examples of our sleep cycle, a waking state and our sleeping state. And there's examples in the heavens, in the cosmos, many, many cycles. Sun rotates, the Earth rotates around the sun once every year. The solar system moves through the galaxy, in a cycle, spinning, and the galaxy moves through the universe, and the universe expands. So there's all this motion, there's all these cycles in life. So to say that, some people postulate, mostly religious people, we're born once, we pray to God, and then we go to heaven or to hell, and that's it. It just doesn't fit in with everything that we can see. Everything that we can notice and see throughout our whole life is in a cycle, and the human beings are too. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk a little bit about death. It's really important that when the time for death comes, that we have a very, positive or at least neutral state when we're about to go through the death cycle. And, this can't be achieved right at the end of life. It needs to be worked through, thought, worked over, sense your feelings and your thinking and all those types of things. So that needs to be done. It should be done regularly, by every person. Think about death. Think about, how it might be for you in the last moments. And I was going to share a little bit, some of the exercises that I do. One of the sort of the exercises I do with myself is I always say, or typically I'll say to myself, if I was to die tomorrow, if I knew I was going to die tomorrow, and I had terminal cancer or some disease or something, if I knew I was going to die tomorrow, what things would I want to accomplish? What would I need to do between now and tomorrow? And what that does for me, it brings into focus of things that I may have not done or neglected, and it gives me a chance to put all those things right. So that's been very helpful. That's one thought exercise that I've done in sort of preparing for death. The other thing is, there's Billy always describes, life, dying, a process, and then death. I wonder about this dying process because now I'm 60 and, I notice a lot of changes in my body. I'm a lot weaker than I used to be. Of course, there's the physical appearance, right? No hair, gray hair, no, bald, all those kinds of things, more wrinkles, all those kinds of, those we can see, we can notice. And sometimes we can't because those changes happen very slowly over time. And so when you look in the mirror all the time, you don't really notice it. Maybe after 20 years you look back, or if you see a photo or something, you notice something like that. But so I don't know if Billy means the dying process is like right at the end of life, the last, hours or something like that. I have a suspicion he means much more broadly. And if that's the case, then, I've already started that process. I've already started that dying process. My muscles are getting weaker, my joints ache. Last year, some of you may know I had some health problems. I had my gallbladder removed. So, I have one less organ already. So it sort of, it's in my mind from time to time that, hey, I'm in the dying process, or at least the broader understanding of it. That, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to think, and, it's sort of interesting, and I'm curious how death will finally be. And I spent a lot of time exploring, what that might be like. And, that exploration and the noticing, the observation, I was going to use a German word, Beobachten, because I've been speaking German for 2 weeks. That observation of our feelings and the thinking that's connected with it, it's really important. So if you haven't spent any time thinking about death, and it doesn't matter if you're, 20 years old or 60 years old, like I am, or 80 years old, everybody should take some time and think about death because it's so connected with life. Billy has a saying in one of his books, I'm probably going to butcher it, but I'm just going to paraphrase, but it goes something like, everything that's death, or what's the guy with the sickle? I think it's death, but there may be a English term for it. I just don't remember. But death comes and collects everyone, or death comes and collects everything that has ever been born. So anything that's ever been born, anything that has a material life, will have a death cycle, will be part of this cycle of life and death. And it was more poetic than I've explained, but it's something along those lines. And it struck me as, wow, that's really interesting, that death comes to collect everything that has ever been born. So reminding us while we're all in that cycle. So if you can spend some time, and I've done that as well, it's important. It's important to think about death because you never know. Even if you are young, you could, develop a disease or, get in a car accident. I mean, death could come sooner. We don't know, right? We don't know when our death will come. We just know that it will be. It's a certainty that will be some point in the future. So, to be able to achieve the sort of, a peace or, an understanding about death and some kind of, reverence for that process, it can't be done at the end of life. It has to be done slowly over time. So you get slowly and, slowly over time, you deal with the feelings, you deal with the thoughts, and then you come to this understanding. I don't think I'm there yet, but I'm on this road. You come to this understanding that, death is inevitable. It's going to come at some point. And then when that point finally comes, can we, or I'll speak for myself, can I face it with, sort of honor and dignity and say to myself, I think I've done the best that I can in this life. And then, sort of surrender yourself to what comes next. So that's sort of what I'm working towards. And, I'm not there now, but, as I get older and, my body breaks down more and all those kinds of things, it sort of reminds me more and more about death. And anyway, that's because this is the last video. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Vivian and I did a whole series, a whole video on becoming and passing away about death. So you can look forward to that. and I stole some of my show notes about death for this little discussion today. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say about death, and hopefully everybody takes a little time to think about it because it is so connected with life. That's it for this post, and thanks for following along on my vlog. We'll see you later. Okay, some contact information. If you would like to contact me or send a question, the best way to do that, or my preferred method, is on the forum. So the Future of Mankind forum, if you go to the Future of Mankind forum, there's a navigation site on the left-hand side. At the bottom, I believe it's in yellow, it says Billy Meier Books. If you click on that, that is the area that I will post and respond to. The other areas I don't bother, I don't post in those. But there's a lot of other good information, I should say. If you're interested in the contact notes and things like that, there is a lot of good information in there, in other areas. But if you'd like to write a question to me and have a longer term, back and forth, that's the best place. You can also post a question here on the Billy Meier Books YouTube channel, below the videos and stuff. After this series, the vlog series, there'll be a lot less videos coming out. I'll probably have 2 a month now, one with Vivian and I and one with the passive member questions. So there'll be less time, there'll be less opportunity to put questions in after this series. So those are the 2 ways. And then if you want to write, I prefer not answering questions via email. So if you can help with that, that'd be great. You can contact me. My public email address is mike.whelan. So it's mike.whelan at billymeierbooks.com. And if you want to write me there, just say hi, that's fine. If you have a group anywhere in the world and you'd like me to do a presentation or something, via Zoom or, online, Microsoft Teams, any of the online platforms, happy to do that. I don't charge anything. I'm working, I don't need the money for that. So, but if you'd like that, I've done that in the past. I could do that. If you have a gathering of some kind, you'd like me to make a presentation, answer questions, happy to do that. You can coordinate all that also through my email address. Anyway, that's the ways to get a hold of me from the different things. I don't have, I have a Facebook account and stuff. I don't do Facebook or Instagram or any of the social media stuff. So you probably find me on there, but don't post because I won't answer it. Anyway, I just figured I'd say that because everybody's into the social media stuff, and it's just really not my cup of tea. So that's how to get a hold of me. That's how to ask questions going forward. Thank you for being a subscriber to the Billy Meier Books YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the next post. Well, this is my last post on the vlog series. This is vlog number 12, and this is the end of my time at the Semyaze Silver Star Center for this trip for 2025. And I really just want to thank all the people that contributed by posting either comments or questions. It's been really helpful. It's been really nice to feel that you've all come along on this journey with me, this journey to the Semyaze Silver Star Center in Hinterschmidt, Switzerland. So it's really been nice. So all the people that have taken time and asked questions or just posted, it's really appreciated. It really made the trip much more enriching and enjoyable for me. So thank you so much. As my last segment on my last video, I compiled a series of videos and photos that I've taken throughout my trip. And so this next series, this last 3.5 minutes of my last vlog, I hope you enjoy it. I put it together with some music, and it's intended to, bring forth some feelings. So if you'd like to, observe your feelings you have during this last segment, and you want to share those, post them down in the comments, and I'll read them or respond to them as needed. So enjoy this last 3.5 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to the Semyaze Silver Star Center, and we'll see you in the next video.